प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज शताब्दी महोत्सव की जय। With prostrations at the divine feet of Bhagwan Swaminarayan and my Guru Hare, Param Pujya Pramukh Swami Maharaj and Pragat Guru Hare, Param Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj, my heartiest namaskar, especially to the WRC team, all the delegates, chartered accountants, and all the guests present on the occasion today. Well, the topic asked of me today, powered by professionalism, driven by values. We live in this 21st century where somebody has rightly described the state of affairs of the 21st century man and society. Somebody has said that these are the times where we have homes. These are the times of double incomes and more divorces. These are the times of high-rise buildings but low-rise characters. High-rise buildings and low-rise characters. These are the times of broader highways but narrower viewpoints. These are the times where man has gone all the way to the moon and has come back, but he finds it difficult to cross the road and meet the new neighbor. These are the times of perhaps some good incomes but shallow relationships. These are the times where man has broken the atom and has produced tremendous amount of energy, but he finds it difficult to break up prejudice. These are the times where man has gone above gravity. He has gone on moon and has come back, but he finds it difficult to cross the road and meet the new neighbor. So in short, these are the times where we have much to show in the show window and nothing in the stock room. कई बार दिखाने के लिए हमारे पास बहुत सारी चीजें हैं, लेकिन शुद्ध भावना, पवित्र विचार वो कम होते जा रहे हैं. So more talk on ethics, more talk on values, more talk on disciplines and norms in life. प्रोफेशनल्स की कोई कमी नहीं है पृथ्वी पे. बहुत चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स हैं, बहुत इंजीनियर्स हैं, बहुत डॉक्टर्स हैं. जितने हैं उसमें से 15% तो आइडल बैठे हैं. यस और नो? जितने हैं उनमें से प्रोफेशनल्स 15% तो आइडल बैठे हैं, और जो वर्क कर रहे हैं उनके पास भी अभी 15% टाइम काम का है. So we have enough of professionals today in the society. What we need is professionals with an ethical bent of work, ethical bent of thinking, ethical bent of attitudes in life. So when it comes to the first part of the topic, powered by professionalism, there are many definitions of professionalism, many different angles to look at it. But the first and the fundamental, the foundation of professionalism is that you use your intellect to the highest, to the best. Whatever you possess. In terms of academics, in terms of talents, in terms of expressing your intelligence, in terms of processing the work, in terms of producing results, in carrying out projects, you use your intellect to the best and to the highest. Is the foundation of professionalism. And when, by your academics, by your talents, by your intelligence, you have gained the highest levels of professionalism, I'm talking of the first part of professionalism. By your good academics, by your good talents, by your good intelligence, when you acquired certain levels of professionalism, you can create, you can work magic in your work, you can come out and produce results sometimes beyond imaginations. because you are a hardened person, battle hardened. You might have seen the 2002 World Cup soccer finals. It was between Germany and Brazil, the two top teams of the tournament at that time. Germany's captain was Oliver Kahn. He was the goalkeeper. Until this match, till the finals, he had not conceded a single goal to the opponent team. That was his acumen out of his academics, talents and intelligence. That professionalism. Now it was the finals against the Brazils, the most dreaded attacking team when it comes to football. And at that time they had the 3 R's. Ronaldinho, Rivaldo and Ronaldo. I'm talking of Ronaldo of Brazil, not Cristiano Ronaldo of today's Portugal. 3 R's were deadly. And when they are in their full form, attack form, any defense of any country, they could shatter into pieces. And they had that deadly talent, very high level of professionalism to perform. Again, first point we are discussing, out of academics, talents and intelligence. First half, 0-0. Second half, 20 minutes into the match, nobody had scored. But now it was the pressure on this 3R because Brazil is a football-loving country and tremendous emotional pressure on this 3Rs to perform and give at least one goal, winning goal, to become World Cup champions. And all the onus lied on Ronaldo's shoulders. And a point in the game went from German side's goalkeeper, from extreme left of the goalkeeper. It was Ronaldinho who got the ball in his feet. And Ronaldinho could run at 30 kilometers per hour with the ball. So he ran at tremendous speed from the left. So the whole German defense to stop Ronaldinho entering the D with the ball. Because one of these 3Rs entering with the ball inside the D and they would be unstoppable. It was a very deadly combination. He was in his full flow. The whole German defense like a wall came in front of Ronaldinho. And he, in a spark of the moment, could feel that I would not be able to pierce this wall. So from the middle, Rivaldo was running, charging in as a help. Ronaldinho passed the ball to Rivaldo. And the whole German defense moved towards the center to stop now Rivaldo from attacking the goal directly. What Rivaldo did was a masterpiece of professionalism. Unbelievable masterpiece. He was getting the ball straight in a linear fashion from the extreme left. He played a dummy kick. As if kicking the ball with full force, and the German team, defense team of 4 to 5 players, they turned around because the wall would again turn around when the ball is kicked. Because if they get hit on the face, it would be a permanent damage. So they turned around and Rivaldo did not touch the ball. Highest level of professionalism. Again coming out of academics, talents and intelligence. Very shrewd move. Highest level of intelligence. He did not touch the ball and allowed the ball to pass through Ronaldo, who was charging from the right. This German defense, the German wall, thought that the ball would be attacked from the center. But it was passed to the extreme right. Rivaldo just moved his kick from above the ball. He did not touch the ball. A masterpiece of professionalism as described in the articles later. Ronaldo got the ball and it was just him and the German goalkeeper. And from 60 feet, he shot at a tremendous speed and it was the first goal for the Brazilians. Another in 10 minutes, they scored again. Ronaldo scored again in 10 minutes. Because the initial moral, along with the wall, both were broken. And Brazil won the World Cup 2-0. It was a sheer masterpiece. An unbelievable level of professionalism put into play by the player at the center, that was Rivaldo. He was the most experienced player at that time, who had seen 3 World Cups before that. So when you are driven, when you are powered by professionalism, you produce unbelievable results. So the first part of this is you think rationally, you act purposefully, and you deal very effectively with the situation. This three is called professionalism from the intellect. Again, I repeat. You think very rationally, you act very purposefully, and you deal very effectively with the situation. That is professionalism out of intellect. Now, part two of professionalism. Until the 90s, for all professionals of all kinds, it was said that more the brains, better the work. From the 90s, the concept changed. They said, along with the brains, more levels of emotional experiences, better emotional understanding of the people that you work with. So the new term came into existence, and that was emotional intelligence. Till the 50s, it was considered that better the physical work, better the result, because all were farmers, almost, before the second industrial revolution. Thereafter, forget physical work, better the mental strength, better the intellect, and better produce of work. Then in the 90s, the concept changed. Above brain, there is heart. Better the emotional understanding of the people around you, you are a better leader. You are a better leader. So jokingly, many times I say that if you score 90% in HSC, you go into a very good professional stream. Straight away, isn't it? To become a doctor, to become an engineer, to become a chartered accountant. If you score 15% less, 75, you go into the commerce field, open a company, and hire the first category, 90% people. If you still score 15% less, that is 60%, you go into public life and make policies for the top 2. And if you still score 15% less, you are in the 45% range, you go into underworld and control the top 3. It's just a joke. What I mean to say is, better understanding of the people and you become a better professional. So it was now termed in the late 90s that emotional intelligence plays a much better role than your intellect. I'm reminded of a very high level of professionalism when it came to emotional intelligence. You might all have heard the name of J.D. Rockefeller. The first big billionaire foundation of the world is the Rockefeller Foundation in New York. Once something happened in the office of J.D. Rockefeller, and because of the mistake of an employee, the company incurred a loss of $3 million. I'm talking of the things in the 80s. $3 million. That employee knew that I would be fired by the boss. Maybe my bonuses, this, that, gratuity, whatever, would not be given to me. So he was under constant stress and fear. At that time, J.D. Rockefeller, as the CMD of the company, the chairman and the managing director, he calls the employee in his chamber. And he was almost like the employee was almost shivering. And J.D. Rockefeller offers him a chair. And seeing that he was like in a very bad shape, offered him a glass of water. And then there was nothing, no file on the table. Yet, from the drawer, he pulls out a small piece of paper. And J.D. Rockefeller tells the employee, I know the whole incident has happened. I'm been reported by my managers. And the company has incurred a loss of $3 million because of your one decision. He said, sir, I'm very sorry about it. And I'm ready to accept whatever you say. Rockefeller pulled out the piece of paper and there were some 7, 8, 10 points written in it. And he tells the employee, see, before calling you inside my chamber, I went through your 22 years of association with us and what you have done for the company. In that year this, in that year this, in that year this. everything. So far, what you have done to the company, the profits that you have brought in, the businesses that you have brought in, and your unquestionable integrity towards the company, this $3 million is like peanuts in front of your selfless services to the company. So you are not fired, but now you are promoted at a level that you can take an authorized decision, and I give you a chance to increase the business and the profit of the company. So today I have called you to promote you. Seeing your 22 years of association with the company, I know this is a mistake. And tomorrow, even I can make that mistake. But I know your dedication towards the organization, your integrity towards the organization. And I am promoting you to a level where you can take an authorized decision. You are empowered more from today in the company so that you get a chance to help us out. And that employee was so much moved from within. He never expected a behavior of this class from his boss. And in today's times, you would never. You would never. Forget $3 million, 30,000 rupees can even be too much for you to continue your job there. And that employee worked hard. He put in 16, 18 hours of work a day for the next 3 to 5 years, brought in new businesses, and took the business of that section of the company to a different level, made the profits more than that. Rockefeller promoted him to the vice president level. See the association. See the emotional intelligence. Professionalism is not just good etiquette clothes, hairs well cut, you well shaved every day in the morning, and you have some good manners like hi, hello, how are you, thank you, with your shoulder movements, along with your lips. Okay, etiquettes are needed, I understand. Manners definitely needed. But along with that, more important, if you want to succeed as a leader at some level in life, more important is that you understand your emotions and the emotions of the people. This is a different level of professionalism when it comes to emotional intelligence. It is all about empathy, where you understand your emotions and the emotions of the people around you. And that gives you big associations with people. And that creates big results. And that has created big pairs in history when they have understood each other's emotions well. Gandhi Sardar was a big pair. Today again, two Gujaratis is a big pair. So when you understand each other's emotions well, like he is me and me is him. He is me and me is a different level of professionalism. So etiquettes, manners definitely needed. You greet everybody in the morning when you go to office. Hi, hello everybody, how are you? Good morning, hi, how are you? That's fine. And it is a must. Greetings, you start a good day, a fresh day, and with a hi in everybody's heart. That's nice. But that counts to a very less percentage when it comes to first step that I explained to you, that is intellect, and the second step, that is emotional intelligence. But now, since the last decade, this professionalism has gone to a different level. You would be surprised to know that more spiritual person you are, you can become a better professional. This I'm not using the word I'm talking because I'm a saint. You read top 10 management gurus of the world. Jim Collins, Og Mandino, Ken Blanchard, Anthony Robbins, Robin Smith, top 10 management, Stephen Covey, and they would always teach their professionals in their seminars, even top class executives of Fortune 500 companies, that become a better spiritual person. Then you will become a better professional. I would suggest all of you, when you as professionals, you have come together today, if you have a piece of paper and pen, you write the name of this book and the author, definitely you must read it. If you don't have, you can type in your mobile. The title of the book is Spiritual Intelligence, the Ultimate Intelligence. Spiritual Intelligence, the Ultimate Intelligence. And it is co-authored by Ian Marshall and a lady called Dana Zohar. Now don't open the YouTube now or the Google now. You are supposed to listen to me first. This is the book Spiritual Intelligence, the Ultimate Intelligence by Ian Marshall and Dana Zohar, where interacting with more than 5,000 professionals of different categories and different fields, they have written this book that better the spiritual intelligence, which is above EQ, that is emotional intelligence, you can become a much better professional. Many of you are typing, so I would repeat. The title of the book is Spiritual Intelligence, the Ultimate Intelligence, written by Ian Marshall and Dana Zohar. Now, both of these authors, they have listed out that if your spiritual quotient is high, that makes you a better professional. You have these 8 signs of high SQ. First sign of you having a good spiritual quotient is flexibility. That is, you can accept a good change wholeheartedly. This is a higher level of professionalism. As I said, I will not talk of routine professionalism, how to sit in your meetings and how to present your points and how to use a PPT and वो सब पुरानी बातें चालू बातें. I'll take you to a different level. Professionalism, when it comes to spiritual quotient, flexibility to change. Harvard University, a few months back, they came out with the definition after a lot of soul searching, new definition of intelligence. And they said, acceptability for change is intelligence. Adjustments to change is intelligence. So if you are sitting in a meeting, now let me exemplify it. You are sitting in a board meeting or your executive level meeting and discussions on certain projects or some problems discussed to find out some solutions for it, for your clients, whatever. Then you present a solution, well uploaded. Somebody from the other end of the table comes out with a solution from his side. Maybe he's your employee, maybe he's your colleague. And then, if you find it better, at that time, if you have the heart and courage to put aside your solution, even being the boss, and accept your colleague or employee's solution because your heart got convinced that it is a better solution for the problem, and you accept it, that is professionalism. If at that time, if your ego doesn't prop up, which normally happens, because I am practicing chartered accountant since 25 years. And that guy who suggested this thing is just 4 years into the profession. ये ईगो आ जाता है ना. और अगर ये नहीं आया तो दूसरा प्रकार का आता है. Why can such a good idea come into his head and not mine? I cannot accept this. But let me tell you as a professional, because I was also a professional before I became a saint. I did my engineering way back in 1991. So, let me tell you a fact. You read the book that the 100 great ideas that changed the world. Out of that, 70 ideas have come from the brains of class 3 and class 4 people, including T20, which has revolutionized cricket, which has brought in huge money into cricket, the T20 tournaments. That idea has come from a class 3 employee sitting in ICC, England. So right from the will to T20, many great ideas that have changed the course of history in their respective fields have come from class 3 and class 4 people in the office. So there is a chance that probably some good idea for solution of your problems or for executing a project can come from an ordinary employee which you hired, or perhaps whom you scholared, or perhaps whom you guided. Possible. Doing internship in your office, he can come up with a good idea. A leading auto manufacturer, they build an SUV, beautiful car, but after building up, they could find that it could not come out of the garage or of the manufacturing unit. Why? Because its roof was about 1.5 feet above the ceiling level. So all the engineers are confused on how to bring this car out. And the gatekeeper standing there, he could understand and see their confusion. He walks in and said, "Sir, is the confusion that how to bring the car out of the manufacturing unit?" "Huh, oh yeah, problem." Because they were engineers there. He said, "Sir, I have an idea." "Kya hai bol?" He said, "Sir, if you deflate the tires, remove the air from the tires, it will come out and then you can fill the air again." These people, engineers, were already thinking कि चलो रूफ अगर सीलिंग के साथ ब्रश हो जाए तो कलर चला जाएगा तो फिर से कुछ कलर कर देंगे, ये वो वहां तक के सॉल्यूशंस चल रहे थे. हाँ? And he said, "Sir, deflate the tires, the car will roll out, then you can fill air." And all the engineers like, my goodness, he's a gatekeeper there. So first put aside your ego that I am a chartered accountant since 25 years. Always good ideas can come to me only. Always good solutions to problems can come from my mind only. Because I have solved many such problems. Even then, sometimes the best ideas can come from class 3. So I suggest to you that as a professional, whenever you have an issue, problem, you want a solution, throw it in the office, open. Sometimes somebody can come with a good solution within minutes. So first thing is flexibility to acceptance. Adjustments to change is intelligence. Second point, in being a hardcore professional when it comes to a spiritual quotient, is self-awareness. Where am I? What I'm doing? What I'm supposed to do? I'm supposed to do this at this moment of time. I'm supposed to not do this thing at this moment of time. What I'm talking, what I'm looking, what I'm writing, what I'm seeing, what I'm engaging with, everything you should be absolutely self-aware. So you don't make a public or a private mistake in your life. You should be extremely self-aware. That is a high level of professionalism. Mistakes every professional makes when coming out for solutions for problems. But in the smaller acts of day-to-day routine, you don't make a mistake but because you are absolutely self-aware. I'm not elaborating all the 8 signs of SQ because I'm also supposed to talk on the second part, driven by values. I'm just giving you definitions and some explanation of all these 8 points. You will enjoy reading the book. The third sign of high spiritual quotient that a professional needs is an ability to face and use suffering. Any suffering at your office place, any suffering in your social life, any suffering in your personal life, if you think it positively, that why did this come to me and can I use it for my growth? Can I use it for my some enhancement? And if you think that way, it will help you that way. The top guy in the country today, in our country, has a neck. Anything thrown at him, he can turn it into a large vote bank. Anything you throw at him, he will turn it into a large vote bank. It requires a neck. It is a high level of professionalism. You don't get bogged down. You don't go into negativity. Why is he criticizing me? No negativity. Always a smile. That is a hardcore professional. No negativity. No succumbing to any type of pressure or crisis. Not rolling up the sleeves to fight with anybody. Absolute professionalism is whatever is thrown at me, positive or negative, I can use it for my advantage if I keep the right attitude. That right attitude of turning any negativity in you, towards you, into positivity for your advantage is called professionalism. It's a very high level of professionalism. You don't get bogged down by anything. Fourth spiritual quotient of being a good professional is an ability to be inspired by vision. You see something, anything, And you get an idea that what I saw, how can I use it for my development? How can I use it for the betterment of society? Or did I learn something from it? हम रोड पे आते जाते हैं, कहीं बातें देखते हैं. Many things we see, we listen on the road, in the trains. But if you keep your eyes open, ears open, which normally are, but we don't keep our brains open. If you keep your brains open in your conscious state, only then you are a good professional. That you learn lot many things from things, people and happenings around you. A boy in Bangalore, second year engineering college student, he was standing at the bus stop waiting for his bus to go to the college. Second year engineering student. He saw something. And what was that? A young lady, the woman must be 28, 30 years old, her young little boy, 4, 5 years age, and she was rushing on her two-wheeler because the boy's school's bus would also be there within about a couple of minutes, and in that same bus the boy would go to the school. So she was a bit late on that day and she was in a rush, and the moment she reached there, she could see the bus come there. So she halted her two-wheeler, put it on the stand, lifted the little boy, and in a rush she gave the little boy to the conductor and said, please take care of my boy, please take care of my boy. And the conductor said, ma'am, feel easy, he'll be taken care of. And the boy, as lifted by the mother, took by the conductor, he put it in the bus and guided him to his seat. And the mother was like anxious, sit properly, okay, take care of yourself, okay. This, that last minute, as a mom's heart is. Now this second year engineering student saw this, that a young mother so much concerned and anxious about being late. And in the mornings it happens, because in the mornings, the first 3 hours after you wake up is too much of juggling of activities. From your morning course to your new yoga asanas or whatever morning walk or exercise, to early morning emails, to an unnecessary addiction to WhatsApp, whatever. Early morning. So you have too many activities in the morning, and the social media has put too much of stress on you in early morning, because you are too much concerned early morning. Before you get out of your bed, you open your data, open your WhatsApp, anything new, anything for me, you are not a celebrity, okay? Open your WhatsApp after 9 or 10, you are just a professional. You are not a celebrity. You don't have 3 million followers on day 1 of your Instagram. Somebody had 1 million just yesterday. So you are not that, okay? And are you expecting a call from the PMO? WhatsApp message, यार late night पे PMO में से कोई message आया होगा कि नीलेश जी कल सुबह दिल्ली आ जाना. Just casually as a friend. But what I'm talking is like, there are many good things to do in the morning. And 90% of your messages, you would be happy like you opening your WhatsApp. Oh my God, 70 chats, 105 messages. And out of that, 90% of the messages are good morning flowers and nothing else. Which one of them you like, you forward in your group, which moves from Mumbai to Bangalore to Chennai to Kolkata to Singapore to London, Nairobi, New York, again comes to you after 4 days with one petal chopped off. So don't give too much time to it. What I mean to say is, now, as I said, inspired by vision, this second year engineering student saw this young lady, saw this young mom, so much hurried and anxious in the morning. He, can I help this situation? This can be thrice in a week because early morning course. Can I help this situation? हम उसकी जगह पे होते तो क्या करते? अरे यार 5 मिनट जल्दी आना चाहिए ना इनको. इतना ही बोल के अपनी बस लेके हम कॉलेज चले जाते. This boy, he devised the software. Wherein, when the little children, they alight the bus, the sensor cuts them, and whoever elder's phone number is registered in the system. For example, the mom's number. She gets a message that your boy has alighted the bus. When he sits in the bus, the sensor cuts and he has taken his seat. When he enters the classroom, the sensor cuts and gets a message. The mom gets the message that your boy has entered the classroom. If he raises his hand to answer a question from the teacher, again the sensor is cut. Your boy has raised the hand in the class to answer a question. So the moms or whatever the elder, they feel relaxed that he's safe, he's fine, he's active, and he's there in the classroom. A couple of schools, they accepted it as a pilot project. A big software company in the Silicon Valley, they got the idea of this. This boy was just an engineering student. He did not have the network or the system or the company set up to spread this across the globe. But this huge company in the Silicon Valley did have that. They purchased the software and the deal was about $70 million. This is called professionalism. You see something and you pick up something. But then for that, you have to keep not your just eyes or ears open. You have to keep your brains, your minds open. And more than that, you should have that emotion. How can I help the situation, better the situation? How can I grow, progress, or succeed from this? You ask this question to yourself, to something new that you see or listen. That is called hardcore professionalism. And then you grow. All the money that you earn after your 40 years of practice, this guy earned in one vision. What is $70 million? So inspired by vision. Fifth spiritual quotient of being a good professional is you see connection between diverse things. You see these are 180-degree diagonally opposite things. This and this has nothing, no relation. This and this has no relation. Still, a good professional, which a good spiritual quotient, sees relations between the two. Nobody saw the relation between Swachh Bharat and the unity of the country. But somebody could see it. And we saw when we see the results. So what I mean to say is, inspired by a vision, then can I see connection between diverse things? Sixth spiritual quotient of being a good professional is causing as little harm as possible to people, to surroundings, to elements around you. How can I cause as little harm as possible? That is also good professionalism. Seventh is a fundamental ability to ask and probe all the fundamental questions. Never accept anything without a couple of questions raised. That is a good professional. And once you are satisfied with it, then accept it fully. Then don't doubt it. But have a couple of questions asked. To ask and probe the fundamental questions is a good professionalism. And the eighth sign of high spiritual quotient for a professional is an ability to work against a convention, a belief, a tradition, a convention. And you come up with the ideas, you come up with the strength, and you come up with all that energy and attitude to work against a convention. So these are the 8 signs of high SQ. If you try to imbibe slowly in your work, you can become a very good professional, just not a result-producing professional, but a growth-producing professional. There is a difference between these two. Result-producing is just IQ. Engaging professional. When I talk to professionals, I say there are 3 kinds of professionals. First is result-producing professionals. They are in the lowest category. Huh? You keep them in the highest category. I keep them in the lowest category. Result-producing professionals. They work with their intellect. Second is engaging professionals. They create teams. They create a force. They create people like them. And they create bigger results. So they are called engaging professionals. And the third kind, which having the spiritual quotient in life, they are called spiritual professionals. Like I was the first to talk about this spiritual professionals, but recently I came across an article where top class management gurus, they have said that now you have to become a saintly executive. Not just an executive, a saintly executive. So these are the 8 signs of high SQ. I just repeat the list quickly. 8 signs. First, flexibility to change. Second, self-awareness. Third, an ability to face and use suffering. Fourth, to be inspired by vision. Fifth, to see connection between diverse things. Sixth, an ability to cause as little harm as possible. Seventh, an ability to ask and probe fundamental questions. And eighth, to work against a convention. These are the 8 signs of high SQ. And when you possess this, or try to imbibe in your life, you can be a professional at a different level. You will be powered by real professionalism, not just theoretical professionalism. You will be powered by engaging professionalism and spiritual professionalism. Both of this kind of professionalism are much higher than intellect professionalism. So don't give your marks away to a person who is just producing results at your office. That is intellect professionalism. Above that is engaging professionalism. And above that is spiritual professionalism. And that works. And that creates results. So this is all about powered by professionalism. And when you imbibe these values, you have minimum internal interference in your work. Again, I suggest a very good book. I think all of you must, as a professional, definitely read this book. The title of the book is Still Power. Still, Still Power. Written by a sports psychologist, Gareth Kramer. And you would be surprised to know that Google's Larry Page, you would be surprised to know that top-class executives in Silicon Valley, many of them were trained by sports psychologists. Still Power, Gareth Kramer. The essence of the book is one equation. Shall I tell you or you will read it? You want me to tell? It's just one equation. The essence of the whole book. He writes, performance is equal to potential minus internal interference. Very good equation for all professionals. Performance is equal to potential minus internal interference. The better spiritual quotients that you develop, that I listed this 8, you will be a better professional. And lesser of internal interference, your potential will be at its best, and your performance thus will be at its best. Performance is equal to potential minus internal interference. Internal interference is sometimes inferiority complex, sometimes it is doubts, which weakens your performance. Better the SQ, better the professional, in a way that lesser the internal interference. That helps you a lot. So this is all about professionalism. Now you have all these kinds of professionalism. But if you don't have certain ethics and values in your life, your professionalism can someday come to zero. You can become zero from hero within seconds. Whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are, you can be with the CBI for 5, 7, 10 days. You can be in Tihar for 55 days. And now you are with the Enforcement Directorate. Whoever you are, wherever you are, you can invite problems if you play with values. So I'm coming into the second part of the talk, driven by values. If you have the best of the engine, that is professionalism. Still without a steering, the car doesn't move. So your professionalism is engine. And your values is the steering. Without that steering, the engine can take the car in any direction out of your control. It can bump into something, an accident can be there, and you can lose your life. Many have lost. And it is not that if you play with values and run away, it cannot be undone. It can be done even if you go to London. A couple of guys will be brought back from London. Done is done, it cannot be undone even if you go to London. So you should be driven by values. When I talk to professionals, I say a sentence. I advise all professionals to marry twice. One with your spouse and one with values in life. It should be a marriage. It should be oneness. As oneness from your heart you enjoy with your spouse. Oneness from heart. In the same way, oneness from heart, from within, you should be enjoying with values in life. And that values, if you abide by it, it has the power to give you all kinds of nutrition. All kinds of nutrition. And if you play with it, someday when it will show its power and start playing with you, you will invite problems and nothing except problems. All kinds of problems can come into your life. To exemplify it, I say many times that if you have become an electrical engineer and you have 35 years of practice as an electrical engineer and you become the chairman of the Maharashtra Electricity Board, you start your career as a junior engineer, senior engineer, executive engineer, board member, and then you become the chairman. On a fine Sunday morning, you're reading the Sunday Times and having a cup of coffee besides you, and you can't just catch your collars and raise it in front of the electric plug and say, okay, now this is the chairman's finger and I'm putting inside, okay? Take care of it. Even if the chairman of the electricity board of a state puts his finger inside the plug, showing his power, that say, your distribution in the whole state lies in my hands, okay? This is the chairman's finger, okay? I'm putting it inside the plug. What happens? Chipak jayega, mar jayega. That means even after 35 years of becoming an electrical engineer and being in a supreme position in the institute, he doesn't have the right to play with electricity because electricity doesn't know your post, position and power. Ethics and values are like electricity. It doesn't know your post, position and power. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you are, even the name of your company is Satyam and you go for asatya practices, you can be in trouble. Even if you are the Sahara of thousands of families and build homes for them, you can still lie Besahara in Tihar for 4 years. Yes or no? Even if you are the king of the skies, you have to leave India without Indian passport. And the UK Home Secretary has already signed the extradition letter and the gentleman will be brought back. He will be in trouble when he opens his mouth. A few biggies will be in trouble. So whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are, don't play with values. Initial playing you would like. बहुत मजा आएगा. प्रैक्टिस में गोलमाल करने की इनिशियल स्टेज में बहुत मजा आएगा क्योंकि इजी फ्लो ऑफ मनी, गुड एक्सपेंडिचर. A pace bowler of Indian cricket team, he did sport fixing. He used to spend 90 lakh rupees per day in shopping malls with his girlfriend. Where did he bring all this money from? It was a sport fixing. And what was that? That when I come in my second spell, he was India's spearhead attack. So we know in T20 a bowler gets maximum 4 overs. And when he's a spearhead attack of the team, the first and the third over he bowls and the captain reserves him for the last stage. So according to the situation of the game, he's brought back in the 17th or the 18th over, and normally fast bowlers, they field on the boundary lines. So in the 17th or the 18th over, when the captain calls him to bowl in his second spell, he had made a deal with the bookies that I'll bring my handkerchief out. I will just wash off my perspiration, this, that, and put my handkerchief back into my pocket, but I will leave the half handkerchief out. That is a signal that I will give 20 runs in this over. Wicked professionalism. And then he used to come up, check his run up for 2-3 times, to give enough time to the bookies. Bets are already placed, that between me and you it is a 1 crore bet in this match. What bet we will discuss during the course of the match. If both of us agree on a particular situation, then the bet will go along, but a 1 crore bet already decided before the match. So the bookies will set up that. Now the situation has to be discussed. And now the bookie said, बोल, देख इस ओवर में बैट्समैन 20 रन करेगा. No, यार, come on. चलो बैट लग गई, जो चालू है 1 करोड़ की, 10 लाख की, 25 लाख की, जो भी है. And then this gentleman would give an over pitch delivery outside the off stump, a fine cover drive. He would remove deep point or a deep gully, and then a short pitch delivery outside the off stump. He would remove deep fine leg, deep square leg, and a bounce delivery so that the batsman could hook. And somebody traced back, how come wherever the fielder moves out, there is a boundary there? And doubts. And by the end of the 5th ball, if the batsman has not scored 20 runs, the 6th ball would be a no ball. See, all of you know it. Or a white ball. And for each delivery, you have 6 deliveries to bowl in an over. For each delivery, the bowler was paid 15 lakh rupees. क्या practice करते हो? 2.5 minutes. 6 balls to bowl, that is 6 deliveries, 2.5 minutes of work, and 90 lakh rupees. And that was again a condition. If I have to bowl 1 or extra 2 balls, then again 15 lakh applies. So 1 over and 1 crore rupees, 2.5 minutes. क्या practice है यार? 2.5 minute, 1 crore rupees. किसी की practice ऐसी तो नहीं होगी यहाँ मुंबई में, मैं सोचता हूँ. Delhi police tracked back. Phone calls were taped. It came out that it is sport fixing. And the gentleman was picked up from middle of the game in the IPL, taken to Tihar, judicial custody, whatever happened thereafter. But BCCI told him that never ever catch the ball on the field. You can sit back home in Kerala. Career gone. Prestige gone. Family ruined. Lifetime stress. Isn't it? Unethical practice. It won't take you long. और ये समझ लेना, कर्म का सिद्धांत परफेक्ट है. आज आपने कुछ प्रोफेशन में गलत किया, यू हैव टू पे फॉर इट. और एक बात आपके समझ में नहीं होगी, मैं आपको बताता हूं. प्रोफेशन में गलत किया उसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि प्रोफेशन में कुछ गलत होगा आपको. कर्म का सिद्धांत ये कहता है कि प्रोफेशन में कुछ गलत किया, उसकी कोई बात आपके फैमिली में भी रिफ्लेक्ट हो सकती है. एक यंग फैमिली मेंबर को कैंसर भी हो सकता है. इट कैन रिफ्लेक्ट इन एनी वे. It can reflect in the credit debit accounts in any way. In terms of health, in terms of relationships, sometimes more wrongdoings in the profession, that karma can negatively affect your relationship, and that can result into a divorce between you and your wife. कर्मा का रिजल्ट तो कोई भी फील्ड में आ सकते हैं. इट्स नॉट नेसेसरी कि यहां ऑफिस में कुछ गलत किया तो ऑफिस में ही पे करना पड़ेगा. यू समटाइम्स यू टू पे इन टर्म्स ऑफ योर पर्सनल रिलेशनशिप्स, इन टर्म्स ऑफ योर हेल्थ, मेनी टाइम्स. हमारे गुरु प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज एक बहुत अच्छी बात करते हैं, जिनका पिक्चर आप ये देखते हो. ही वॉज अ वन मैन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, जिन्होंने ये संस्था खड़ी की. We are one of the biggest NGOs of the world with a permanent seat in the United Nations as an NGO. You see this one campus in Dadar, such 1,300 campuses built and successfully managed on charity base by him, Pramukh Swami Maharaj. He was a one-man organization. एक व्यक्ति संस्था थे. He built 70 hospitals, hostels, schools and colleges single-handedly and administered it on charity basis. If you are a trustee or a council member, something in one organization, you know what happens with you by evening. Imagine 1,300 such campuses. How many of you have been to Akshardham at Delhi or Gandhinagar? Just raise your hands. Most of you, all of you. How many of you been to Delhi Akshardham? All of you. It is on 110 acres of land on the banks of Yamuna in Delhi. People say that it is easy to get a plot of land on Mars and Moon than in Delhi. And that too, we completed the project in 5 years, a non-residential, non-commercial project. I was talking at a real estate conference and I asked all the developers and builders, is there somebody sitting in the audience who has developed 110 acres of land, a non-residential, non-commercial project out of stone, carved stone, on the banks of river like Yamuna and a city like Delhi? Nobody raised their hands. He did it. And bigger the size of that, we are building on 265 acres of land at Robbinsville, New Jersey in America. And we are going to inaugurate it in August 2022. Second Akshardham is being built at present at Johannesburg in South Africa. Third is being built in Sydney in Australia. And just 4 months back, you might have read good news in the newspapers that the Sheikh of Abu Dhabi, His Royal Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, he gifted 27 acres of prime land plot to us, BAPS organization, on the Sheikh Zayed Express Highway, Dubai to Abu Dhabi. That is on his credit, Pramukh Swami Maharaj's credit. Why this credit? He was just 5th standard pass. He could not speak a single sentence in English. Yet he initiated 1100 saints like us. And of the 1100 that we are, more than 750 of them are chartered accountants, doctors, engineers, graduates, postgraduates. More than about 150 of them are born American and British citizens. More than 50 of them have graduated out from Harvard, from Oxford, from Carnegie Mellon, from Yale, from Keeling. Many of our saints at the age of 25 and 28 have left aside jobs of $100,000, $150,000 and been saints in the organization. ये तो मैंने आपको इसलिए कहा कि आपको ये नहीं लगना चाहिए कि ये कुछ जमा नहीं होगा, ठीक नहीं चला होगा, इसलिए यहाँ गए. नॉर्मली संत को लोग देखते हैं तो यही भाषा परिभाषा मन में आ जाती है कि कुछ चला नहीं होगा इसका, कुछ संसार में जमा नहीं होगा, कुछ ठीक नहीं रहा होगा, घर में कुछ खाने की तकलीफ होगी तो यहां आ गए होंगे. BAPS is a different organization. He also, in terms of professionalism, Pramukh Swami put in hard work, but very smart hard work. If I tell you his statistics, you all as professionals, I would use the word, not hesitate in using the word, that you would feel that you are nothing in front of him. I give you 4 or 5 statistics. He traveled to 18,000 villages in 60 countries of the world. When his age was 65, 68 and 70, we have seen him traveling to deep Adivasi villages at 11 p.m. and 12 midnight. Culturing people, de-addicting people. People used to write letters to him for their personal, professional, social, personal issues. Such 7.5 lakh letters read and answered at an unbelievable average of reading and answering 70 letters a day without a Sunday for 45 years. If tomorrow you go to your office and open your mailbox, office mailbox, and you find 15 mails to answer before lunchtime, all the letters that would come up to him were personal and family issues of people, and he had to actually practically guide them, not just blessings. He used to give personal audience who would come, people would come to him with their issues, finding a solution. Such 150, 3 times in a day, 500 people, such 2 million people he personally counseled. He has been the recipient of tens of key to the cities in the US. He was felicitated in the British Parliament, in the Canadian Parliament, in the Kenyan Parliament with standing ovations. And as I said, he built such a huge BAPS organization. And I tell you, I'm being among the professionals in the corporate since last 25 years. It is easy to run a corporate and difficult to run an NGO of this class. Because in professional, you have the work structure, pay and smile. Your employee likes your pay, so there is a smile on his face. And you like his work, so there is a smile on your face. He's paying you in terms of work and you are paying in terms of money. Simple. So it is called pay and smile. The moment he doesn't like your pay, the moment you doesn't like his work, he is out. Here in NGOs where we work, the work structure, work model is different. It is not pay and smile. It is serve and smile relationship. You have to serve and keep a smile on your face and enjoy life. I don't have money. I don't keep money. We saints of BAPS don't have money. We don't have bank accounts. I don't charge a single penny for my talks. I've been talking since 25 years. I don't charge a single penny for my talks. Do you find even a lesser ounce of joy on my face than on yours? Here you have to serve and smile. This is a different work model. In this work model, to be successful to this level, he was wedded to ethics, values and norms. He was once asked, Swami ji, कौन सा विचार आपके मन में हमेशा रहता है? He said, जो विचार मेरे मन में कभी नहीं आया, वो मैं कहूँ, and that was more interesting. उन्होंने कहा, after 80 years of public life, 8 decades of public life, उन्होंने कहा, किसी का भी अहित हो ऐसा विचार मुझे जीवन में कभी नहीं आया. This is driven by values. When Bill Clinton as President of America met Pramukh Swami Maharaj in the year 2000, his age was 80 at that time when he was traveling to US. It was a 22-minute meeting between the two. Bill Clinton was campaigning for his second term, and he took the second term. He was the president for 8 years. Very charismatic president. If you take the top 5 presidents of US, Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy and Ronald Reagan, he comes in that lineage. Bill Clinton, after 22 minutes of meeting, actually he would speak English and Pramukh Swami would not understand a single word. Pramukh Swami would speak in Gujarati, he would not understand a single word. There was a interpreter saint between the two. One of our saints was interpreting both the languages. So actually in the 22-minute talk between the two, it was actually 8 minutes because it was a two-way conversation going on. 8 minutes after the meeting, when he came out, he told us, the saints, he said, I'm quoting him not just word to word, but letter to letter. He said, I have not seen such expressive eyes full of integrity in my life. And at the end of the meeting, Pramukh Swami Maharaj just caught hold of his hand and said in his very traditional Gujarati, Sahib, amaru Akshardham jo avjo. And our interpreter saint, he said, he's inviting you to visit our campus, Akshardham in Gujarat. Bill Clinton immediately said, when he's inviting, I will come. And he came. See, when you have a value-based life, when you are ethically wedded, that power is different. Let me put forward a statement very boldly today that if you are driven strongly by values, you don't need any professionalism in life. A simple life would be attractive. A simple life would be imposing. A simple life, character-filled life can bring results. That we saw from his life. Today his successor, Mahant Swami Maharaj, he's 87. Recently he completed a 55-day tour, marathon tour of Africa, covering more than about 5 countries. He sleeps at 8, 11, 15 at night. He underwent a bypass operation 22 years back. Today he is 87, the successor of Pramukh Swami Maharaj. He sleeps at 11:15 and wakes up at 3:15 in the morning. He reads and answers 150 letters a day. He meets more than 800 to 1,000 people a day. He sits in more than 3 hours of administrative meeting of the organization every day. He attends 50 to 60 phone calls a day. I just put a message today morning that today WRC is coming to our campus and we would have more than 1,000 plus chartered accountants, and just bless that the whole function goes smoothly. And within 1.5 hours, I got a WhatsApp audio blessings of him that the whole program would be a good success. At the age of 87. So when you are driven by values, all the energy comes out. A good professional can tire in the evening. A person driven by values can work 24/7. A person driven by values, the top guy in the country at the age of 70. Driven by values and you don't get tired after 18 hours of work. And if you are just driven by professionalism, and that too first and the lowest level of professionalism, intellect professionalism, you get tired by evening. यार 6 बज गए. एंड इन लोगों को ये होता है कितने बजे, तो कि रात को 11 बजे, ठीक है अभी भी 1 घंटा काम कर सकते हैं. Values have that power. So you should be driven by values. First important value, I was asked to talk for 90 minutes. I've completed 65 minutes. So if you tell, I can just still proceed. I have the time? Okay. Because I take the normally 15 to 20 minutes to go before the end of the talk. I take permission from the audience to continue because, you know, we as saints, we are used to talking in front of clocks and calendars both. First important value that you need as a professional is tremendous self-confidence. हमारे गुरु प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज एक अच्छी बात करते थे. Very good thing, I think all of you as a professional must learn. You have it. Let us imbibe it more. Think 100 times before starting. But when you have decided to start something, and in the process of doing it, if there are 100 hurdles, don't stop. That you are driven by a value called self-confidence. It comes from intense thinking. It comes from master planning. It comes from excellent execution. Tremendous self-confidence. All the artisans were telling that Delhi Akshardham, minimum, it would take 35 years to build. Pramukh Swami said, I want to complete it in 5 years. And the top class architects, they are Sompuras who design stone structure. They are not these normal architects. They said it would take 35 years. Pramukh Swami Maharaj said, I want to complete it in 5 years. He said, we don't have the artisans. Pramukh Swami said many uncles and nephews of elder brothers of these artisans would have shifted to another small jobs because they did not get enough work in this field. Get them back, let these people train them for 3 months. We will sponsor it, but let us have a bigger force. We did it in Rajasthan and Orissa, going to their villages, meeting them in hutments. We traveled to Orissa and Rajasthan, hut to hut, telling them that, do you know this art? Yeah, Swamiji, I left it 8 years back. Now I'm running a pan shop in my village. We said, you will be trained for 3 months at our cost, and we have a huge project. We can give you employment for another 5 years. He said, then I'm fine. We trained them. And from a small workforce, we first created a big workforce. And as Pramukh Swami Maharaj wanted, we completed Akshardham in 5 years. So tremendous self-confidence. That is how it comes out. John F. Kennedy said, man must land on moon by the end of the decade. And he made it. On 20th July 1969, Edwin Aldrin put his first foot on moon. So Stephen Covey has written in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, the most coveted book, management book ever written upon this earth. He writes that I met 3,000 hardcore, professional, successful people in my life. Successful not just as a businessman, but successful in all walks of life. As a husband, as a wife, as a brother, as a sister, as a neighbor, as a friend, as a relative. Successful in all roles of life. As a father, as a mother. Such 3,000 people personally met, interviewed, and their life story well understood by Stephen Covey. And then he writes that these 7 habits were common in them. And the second habit he writes that these people had the habit, beautiful words, begin with the end in mind. Begin with the end in mind. Any relationship you start, any project you start, any work you start, any employee you hire, anything yet that you do, begin with the end in mind, even if you go for weight reduction in life. Begin with the end in mind. So, first comes self-confidence, which is very much needed. Second is integrity. The richest person upon this earth, Warren Buffett, In one of his interviews, he said, I still have that article with me. I loved that article. I cut that, put it in my file. I quote him many a times. He says that when I want to employ somebody, I see 5 things in him. Try to see 5 things. First, academics. Second, talent. Third is his intelligence. Fourth is energy levels. And fifth is integrity. Then he puts the second statement. If he has the first 4 perfect and the last a bit less, I reject him. But he has the last, that is integrity, at the highest levels, and the 4 first ordinaries, I hire him. That means integrity counts more than your academics, talents, intelligence, and all energies. Is the biggest value. Biggest value is integrity. Do you agree with me or not? And you compromise with integrity, you will be a loser. If you walk with integrity hand in hand, and that is why I said marry twice. If you go with integrity hand in hand, integrity has the power to hold your hand under the worst circumstances in your life. Because integrity will give you a good image. Yes or no? Your image created out of professionalism is of a much paler version than your image created out of integrity. We all strive to bring out our image and colors out of professionalism. See the execution of my work, see my planning, see the products that I produce. It's fine, needed. Do it 8-10 hours a day. But concentrate more on creating your image in your fraternity, in your market, by your integrity values than professionalism. We give less time to it. Actually, it needs more. Time and energy both. So integrity. And when you have that integrity, it is a tremendous power. And you can, at any stage of life, give a good thought to it, reprocess yourself, and thus rebuild yourself. मैं एक दिल्ली अक्षरधाम का एक प्रसंग कहना चाहूंगा. 2006 में यह प्रसंग बना था. रोज अभी तो ऐसे 10, 15, 25 प्रसंग बनते हैं. People change their lives for the better. First we used to remember all those things, but now even we cannot remember because कहीं प्रसंग बनते हैं. Because since its inception in 2005 till today, we have an average footfall of 17,000 people per day in the last 14 years. 17,000 visitors per day. We keep a general visitors book. Anybody can have an input, a suggestion, maybe a criticism, maybe something. रात को हमारे वॉलंटियर्स वो बुक देखते हैं. किसी ने लिखा था, बहुत अच्छी बात लिखी थी कि मैं एक छोटा सा व्यक्ति हूं, हरियाणा के एक छोटे से गांव में से आज आया हूं. मेरी उम्र 50 साल की है. मैं दिल्ली सिर्फ 2 दफ़ा आया हूं. कोई हमारे गांव में बड़े घर में शादी थी, तब बारात में आया था. और आज सभी ने कहा कि चलो अक्षरधाम देखने के लिए चलते हैं, इसलिए आज मैं यहाँ आया. मेरा व्यवसाय यह है कि मैं घर घर जाके दूध बांटता हूं. हमारे छोटे से गांव में 70-80 घर हैं और हम गांव में साइकिल पे दूध के कैन लेके घर घर जाते हैं. छोटे गांव में होते हैं ना, पीपल ऑन बाइसिकल कैरी मिल्क कैन्स एंड दे डिलीवर लूज मिल्क. हम 2-3 दूध वाले हैं. मैं ज्यादा पढ़ा लिखा नहीं हूं, लेकिन आज यहां अक्षरधाम आया, प्रदर्शनी सब देखी, जीवन के मूल्यों का बहुत अच्छा परिचय प्राप्त किया, बहुत प्रेरणाएं मिली. तो आज से मैं प्रतिज्ञा लेता हूं कि मैं अपने दूध में पानी नहीं डालूंगा. When Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin, they put their first foot on moon, New York Times carried out a title page headline in bold letters, a small step by a man, but a giant leap for mankind. A small step by a milkman at Akshardham, a giant leap for mankind at WRC today. Everybody got inspired. तो आप भी, आपका दूध क्या है? बैलेंस शीट. उसमें पानी मत डालना. समझ गए? अपने अपने दूध में पानी मत डालना. इस डायलॉग से समझ गए? आपका दूध क्या है? बैलेंस शीट. उसमें पानी मत डालना. देश की बड़ी सेवा. मैं कई बार बोलता हूं, टेल योर क्लाइंट्स वेरी क्लियरली, that no escapism from GST. Tell them on face. कोई भी escapism चाहिए तो मेरी ऑफिस पे फिर से मत आना. Create your image out of integrity. I tell professionals that if you abide by GST, which is your national duty, as citizens of the country, from the land where you are earning your money and filling your belly and filling your belly of your family members, it is your moral duty to pay your GST perfect. इसी धरती पे से रहकर आप कमाते हो पैसे, तो इसी धरती को देना आपकी जिम्मेदारी है. Yes or no? And by not inspiring your clients to pay GST properly, you are not just cheating the government or the nation, you are cheating your own self. Because no conscience is no pillow is as soft as a clear conscience. जब आप रात को सोने जाते हो तो बेडरूम में सबसे अच्छा पिलो क्या है? A clear conscience. I have not done anything wrong. Driven by values. That is a clear conscience. You should be able to hold your head high in the midst of any crowd. I have not done anything wrong. Nobody should be able to pinpoint a finger at you. He lived 80 years of public life with this. So much of a huge organization, interaction with so many people. You can't point a single finger to his character. That is a life lived. और कई बार मैं कहता हूं, if you are honest in your GST is goods and services tax. A GST will be showered from the top as blessings. And that GST is God saves tension. GST. ये GST ठीक भरी तो फिर टेंशन ही नहीं है. God saves tension, GST. Goods and services tax यहां, God saves tension ऊपर से आएगा. Enjoy that. किसी और का छोटा सा रोटी का टुकड़ा तो रात को 12 बजे रोड पे 2 कुत्ते हैं वो भी ले लेते हैं. Don't perform the same act 12 hours hence, sitting in a posh office with a 3-piece suit of taking somebody's half piece of chapati. That is not value-based life. That is an animal life. It's better to drive a Hyundai self-earned with ethics than to drive a Merc out of unethical practices. That can perhaps give you an acceptance among a few people that will not give you a clear conscience to live a life with. So integrity is very much needed. And if you lose out on that, you will be a loser. You should have love for truth. You might have seen the 1987 World Cup, the Prudential World Cup, co-hosted by India and Pakistan. It was the quarterfinals match between West Indies and Pakistan. West Indies was the most powerful team in the 70s and 80s. Clive Lloyd was the captain and he played with a formula. 6 batsmen, 4 pace bowlers and a wicket keeper, no spinner to give relief to the batsmen. Every delivery should be bowled at 90 miles per hour. Batsmen thrust ho jane chahiye. All the 90 overs of the test match day should be bowled at 90 miles per hour. Colin Croft, Joel Garner, Michael Holding, Malcolm Marshall. This was the West Indian pace battery in the 80s and 70s and 80s. Terrific pace. '87 World Cup quarterfinals at the Gaddafi Stadium in Pakistan between West Indies and Pakistan. West Indies was first to bat and Pakistan was playing, and Pakistan's star batsman Javed Miandad was at the crease. And always everybody believed until Javed was at the crease, there were always hopes of Pakistan winning the match. Javed Miandad and Zair Abbas. The older generation knows this. The younger generation would know these names lesser. Javed played an uppish ball outside the off stump towards covers. And he could not keep the ball on the ground. It was not a perfect timing. And the ball was a bit in air. And Courtney Walsh picked him up. Caught. And Javed walked off the crease. Umpire raised his finger. Javed Miandad was caught out. Courtney Walsh, Again, a very good fast bowler. Today also he holds the record of 517 test wickets by a pace bowler. Spinners Muralitharan and Shane Warne, they have more wickets in test match, but as a pace bowler. He ran to the umpire and he said, "Sir, when I picked up the ball, that is when I caught the batsman, the middle knuckle of my catching hand touched the ground, so he's not out. Call him back." What a value-driven life! That you remember this incident 30 years hence today in a seminar of professionals. And the umpire was amazed. And a co-player told him, "Courtney, you know what you are committing. It is a huge mistake. You are throwing a match because giving a second chance to such a star batsman. And he would not offer a second chance to you." And the same happened. Javed took the match away from West Indies. And for the first time in the history of the World Cup, West Indies was out of the tournament before the qualifying rounds ended. But when, years back, Courtney Walsh bowled the last delivery of his career at Jamaica in West Indies, in the commentator's box, Channel 9 Australia's chief commentator Richie Benaud, ex-captain and batsman of Australia, he was commenting, and he rose from his seat and with tears in his eyes, he said, "Here walks back the last of the gentlemen cricketers." That is the tribute he gave on behalf of the cricketing world and fans to Courtney Walsh. See, love for truth. जैसे प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज ने कहा, किसी का भी अहित हो ऐसा विचार मुझे कभी नहीं आया. ट्रूथ में यह है कि love your competitor also. Fine. He is good. He is progressing with his intelligence, with his talents, with his networking, with his satisfaction of clients. Fine. I am doing with my. उसका हार्डवर्क, उसका प्रारब्ध, उसकी डेस्टिनी वो भुगत रहा है. मैं अपना हार्डवर्क, अपनी डेस्टिनी पे चल रहा हूं. Why to have envy with anybody? And even if you have envy with somebody, what wrong is going to happen to him? And all the wrongs are going to happen with you. Stress, tension, जब भी उनको देखो, अरे यार ये, all the wrongs are going to happen to you. अगर ऐसी ही सेमिनार में आपके बाजू में आपके बैठ के, माय गॉड ये कहां गया? So if you envy somebody, nothing wrong is going to happen to him. All wrongs will happen to you. Why are you wasting your time and energy with envy with somebody? हमारे भगवान स्वामीनारायण ने सिखाया किसी के साथ ईर्ष्या हो तो इस प्रकार की ईर्ष्या करना कि इनके जैसे सद्गुण और प्रगति मैं भी प्राप्त करूं. Don't try to pull him down. Try to be like him. This is positive envy. This is a value. Get driven by it. एनवी में दो प्रकार है. नेगेटिव एनवी क्या है? लेट मी पुल हिम डाउन, लेट मी फाइंड हिम सम नेगेटिव्स, लेट मी एक्सपोज हिम. ये केस में उन्होंने ये थोड़ी गड़बड़ की है, लेट मी टेल टू फाइट एंड पीपल, पता है इसने ये किया. दैट इज ऑल नेगेटिव एनवी. जो भी किया. पॉजिटिव एनवी इज आई विल बी लाइक हिम. भगवान स्वामीनारायण has said this in the Vachanamrita as the essence of scriptures. So you can even use some negatives that are within us for a positive outcome in your life. That is called driven by values. So that is the love for truth. But आज तो इतना असत्य चलता है, इतना झूठ चलता है. You know, our senses for truth, they have gone down to that level that ordinary lies, we don't even realize that I have spoken a lie. Even if you speak a big lie, then sometimes you feel, अच्छा यार कुछ आज झूठ बोला. छोटी छोटी लाइज तो रूटीन में चली जाती है. जैसे डिनोसर्स थे ना, एक एज में डिनोसर्स पृथ्वी पे थे. उनका दिमाग का वजन सिर्फ 30 ग्राम्स था. इसलिए इफ सम एनिमल वुड बाइट देम ऑन द टेल, they would get the sense of it after 30 minutes that somebody has bitten me there. By the time the animal has already run away somewhere. In the same way, that has happened to us, the 21st century professional. That if we speak a lie, the senses don't pick up that it is a lie, man. You can't do this. बहुत बड़ी लाई करते हैं ना, तो कुछ पता चलता है, थोड़ी थोड़ी पिकअप आती है. वो टावर कम आता है, एक ही पॉइंट आता है. I am reminded of something. Once a woman, she died and went to heaven. She did some good deeds, so she was there elevated to that level. And the angel inside the heaven, they opened the doors and welcomed the woman inside the heaven. That, well, you are entitled for this seat. But surprisingly, while she entered heaven, the reception room huge, but she would see all wall clocks hanging everywhere. On all the four walls, on the ceiling, everywhere, wall clocks. So many wall clocks even you don't see in a showroom of wall clocks. And she was like surprised. So initial fine, welcome, this, that, drink, this, that. And she said to the angel, if you don't mind, can I ask you a very simple question? He said, feel free. Now you are a member of this heaven committee, central council member. चलो रीजनल भी रख लो, रीजनल वाले भी ताली बजा लो. Nilesh is a good friend, so I can joke anytime with him. I have the liberty. So the angel said, feel free. Then the woman said, why so many wall clocks all over the wall? The angel said that basically there is a norm in heaven that when we give birth to somebody on earth, we put a wall clock synced with him here on the wall. So whenever he utters a lie, the second arm moves a bit, 1 unit. And after the full movement of one full movement, the minute's arm moves. And after the one full movement of the minute arm, the hour arm moves, 1 unit. He said the middle clock there, she said, is all the 3 arms on 12? He said that is the clock of Yudhishthir, he never uttered a lie. Okay, fine. And all the other clocks, different timings. Then she said, if you don't mind, can I ask you another question? The angel said, fine. She said, where are the clocks of married men? And the angel said, well, the clocks of married men we have kept in the office and we use it as office fans. बहुत स्पीड से घूम रहे हैं. He said, where are the clocks of married women? The angel said, those we keep outside the office, we use them as electric generators. The third question. Where are the clocks of professionals? This is your homework. You find it out. Lies, lies and everywhere. The whole world lies in lies. The whole world lies in lies. It happens. Easily झूठ बोल लेते हैं, कैजुअली. और वो भी क्लाइंट को कुछ बोल दिया, कुछ समझा दिया झूठ बोल के. वो क्लाइंट जाता है ऑफिस में से, वी पुट आवर हैंड्स ऑन कॉलर्स. अरे मस्त समझा दिया यार. आप लोग क्यों हंसे वो मुझे बताएं. और फिर एक्शन करते हैं. समझ गए ना? See, it doesn't go long. People are quality conscious. This is the age of social media. Everything will be exposed. This is the age of internet, the information highway. Everything has to come on the road. So it will not be hidden for long. So that is your love for truth. Another good value you should be driven with. Ratan Tata at a B School convention a few years back, he gave a very beautiful advice to fresh management graduates. That after I'm sharing my 50 years of corporate experience with you, as Ratanji said, I'm quoting his words. Ratanji said to these fresh graduates that my 50 years of corporate experience with you, I would tell you one thing, that don't count your luxuries on the amount of money that you have gathered in your bank accounts. Don't count your successes on the luxuries that you have accumulated in your life, but count your success on the number of lives that you have improved and enriched of the people around you in the course of your journey at your office and at your home. How many lives did you better? That counts more. So take care of your employees, not just care of your employees. Your office employees is your second family. The moment you can introduce your employees to your clients that he is working with me since 22 years, he is with me since 28 years, he is the oldest one since 31 years, and he is senior to me. He worked with my father in the same office, and he is since 38 years in the office. I tell you, your 10 certificates from foreign universities hanging on the walls will shame out this introduction of this level of 4 employees who are attached with you since so long years is a bigger image of yours than the 10 certificates hanging on the wall. Do you agree with this or not? This is a value-driven life. This is how you live your life. Because the moment you close your eyes for God, it doesn't make any difference whether you are a millionaire or a pauper. When the game of chess is on, the king and the pawn, they have their respective positions and powers. But when the game of chess is over, the king and the pawn, they go in the same box. So, 150,000 people leave this earth every day. You and me will also someday. In 24 hours, because you are chartered accountants, I have to break up the whole calculation. So in 24 hours, 150,000 people leave this earth. That is 86,200 seconds, 1.5 lakh people leave this earth. So every 2 seconds, 3 people leave this earth. I've been talking since last 80 minutes. That is 8 6 are 48, 4,800 seconds. 7,500 people left this earth. Tomorrow you, day after tomorrow me. If you want to exchange, I can. Tomorrow me, day after tomorrow you. Give you one day longer. But one day everybody of us will leave, isn't it? Yeah. Before you leave, become an inspiration to a few people to leave a legacy of a value-driven life. That is your biggest service to mankind and society. That is the biggest legacy you can leave behind. Leave the planet making that small place where you lived and worked a much better place than what you found when you started. That is a life well lived. That is how you live your life. So that is a value driven life. हमारे गुरु प्रमुख साईं महाराज एक बहुत अच्छी बात करते थे. I'm quoting him letter to letter. He used to say कि नियम धर्म रख के ही सभी प्रवृत्ति करना. Don't do any activity at the cost of disciplines, norms and ethics. That is a value driven life. So you should be driven by values to this extent. And the last thing that I would like to put forward is the source, the mother of all values is your faith in God. The more closeness to God, the more attachment to God, you will experience better values in life. You will experience much better values in life. Better spirituality, better professionalism. You would find it difficult to believe. This is a different topic. Someday, 1 hour, I'll talk to you how being a good devotee of God, you can be a good professional and a great human being. Both. We need to make a good combination. You should have a combination. I talk to professionals, when I talk to even students, I tell them it should be a combination of two things in life. Be a smart professional and a great human being. Perfect combination. A smart professional and a great human being. We very warmly welcome one of the most senior saints of the organization, Param Pujya Kothari Swami. His age is 82 and he did his engineering from Vijay in 1960 before many of us were born. Very warmly welcome in our assembly. Thank you, Swami, for being here with us. Please take your seat and we all take our seat. I'll just complete in the next 5-7 minutes. He finished his engineering from prestigious Vijay way back in 1960, before many of us were born, rather. And he's a very senior saint, a saint with many spiritual qualities. And our eldest, that is our spiritual gurus, Pramukh Swami Maharaj and Mahant Swami Maharaj, has often praised, like heaps of praises on him. So he's a very senior saint, but a value-driven life, ethical-driven life, that could be seen in his life. What I was talking is like faith in God. I'm in the last part of my talk, last 5-7 minutes, that the faith in God is the mother of all values that can give you many good ethical thinking in your life. Stephen Covey, when he writes 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, as I mentioned of it earlier in my talk, he writes the 7th habit that this professional possessed was sharpening the saw, physically, mentally, and emotionally, where he said, all the 3,000 successful people that I met across continents, they had a habit of connecting with their creator, the God, through prayers every day. And he says that these professionals, they, during interview with Stephen Covey, they said that when we regularly made a habit of praying to God before starting our day, actually, we were able to have calmness in ourselves during heated discussions and exchanges. We could restrain and restrict our inner self from blowing up in times when really anger could prop up in our minds. They even confessed that when sitting in meetings and discussions, we came across some fresh and good ideas, we could attribute and link it directly to our morning prayers. So good professionals has this kind of experience. And University of Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, they proved it by psychoneuro softwares attached on bodies of more than 4,000 people of different age group, and they came out with a conclusion, scientific experiment by psychoneuro softwares. They would measure the release of hormones in your body when you are in good moods or bad moods. They came out with the conclusion report that when you regularly chant the holy name of God for even 12 minutes a day, there is a possibility of 15 to 25% increase in your memory power. Does this help in you being a better professional? A 20% increase in your memory power? Second, they said there is 15 to 25% increase in your willpower and confidence. Again, a good professional attribute. Third, they said, University of Pennsylvania, I can give you the name, Dr. Andrew Newberg, Dr. Ed G. Coing at the University of Philadelphia and University of Pennsylvania. You can put these words on Google, and whatever I said, I'm saying of this, you can read that article. Third, they said 15 to 25% increase in buffer capacity. That is the capacity to absorb shocks of life. And fourth, they said 15 to 25% increase in the strength of immune system. So now by chanting the holy name of God, you have increase in memory power, you have increase in willpower, you have increase in confidence levels, you have increase in buffer capacity, you have increase in strength of immune system. This is scientifically proved. I give you the names of the scientists and the places. You can go on Google and search it. If these 5 attributes you can develop to 20% more than what you have just by chanting the holy name of God, isn't that a good activity to be done in the morning? Isn't that helpful? चलो स्वर्ग भूल जाओ, मोक्ष भूल जाओ, ये एडवांटेज लेने के लिए तो कुछ करो. It's a good advantage. So it has this power. And when you are connected with God, Pramukh Swami's main strength, imagine a 5th standard pass person developing a huge organization of this class and initiating and inspiring so many. We have a volunteer force of 55,000. Inspiring so many people for betterment in life. What was the force that he had? Pramukh Swami Maharaj's real force and the real strength that he possessed, what was his immense faith in the all-doership of God. Professionally, आपको दूसरी बात, दूसरा advantage क्या होगा? Faith in God. Faith in God is one line. Whatever happens in my life is happening and will happen, happens with the wish of God, happens for my good. That's what Lord Krishna says to Arjuna in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Karmanya vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. How it helps you as a professional? Now I will tell you. You all might have experienced that you planned well and executed well, yet you did not get the results you wanted. Yes or no? Many a times. Yes or no? And many a times you planned less, executed less, still you got the best results beyond your imagination. Yes or no? That means this is working. What? That Krishna has said to Arjun, that you perform the duty according to the resources that you have. Final results, Krishna says, I will decide. So if you understand this spirituality well, you will never go into frustration, depression, tension and stress. Why this did not happen? I planned well, I executed well, I applied all my resources to it. Why did this not happen? And you scream at your employees and staff. But at that time you have to understand, karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Human job. If you don't remember anything from this talk, this is the takeaway in your heart, not just in your mind. Our job as human beings is to perform the duty in front of you, whether it is personal, social, professional duty, whatever, to the best of resources that we have. Put all your resources inside the duty. But with a clear understanding that at the end of the day and the end of the project, whatever the result, I will fully accept it wholeheartedly without any tension. That is called spiritual professionalism at the highest level. Perform your duty to the best. Put all your resources inside to bring the best result. But when the final result comes, if it is less than the best or even a failure, accept it. That is what the Prime Minister told the Indian team, which was the best that we sent to the World Cup ever this time. And we lost to New Zealand in the semi-finals. Actually, we were not destined to lose under any circumstances. This was the most powerful Indian team ever to go to the World Cup. And the pace battery that we have today, yesterday the ex-West Indian captain Brian Lara, he compared the Indian pace bowlers of today's times to the famed pace battery of the West Indies of the 70s and 80s. Yesterday Brian Lara said that. Perfect team, but something wrong somewhere happened. Fine. We didn't have people say, cricket analysts, that plan B. If the top four fail, what to do? But whatever. At that time, the PM tweeted that wins and losses are part of life. Accept it gracefully. This is spiritual professionalism driven by values. It's part of life. So tomorrow if you succeed and do a good project, enjoy. If you fail, learn. Both are necessary. Pat is necessary. Appreciation? Yes. Slap is necessary. A pat, the moment as a professional you understand that a pat and a slap both are necessary to grow in life, you are a perfect professional. Appreciation and learning. A pat and a slap. Again a second takeaway. So this is spiritual professionalism. This is driven by values. Definitely all of you have a leaning towards it. All of you are trying your best, but sometimes circumstances prop up, but don't give away to it. Remain a man of values, a professional of values, and that would be the ultimate satisfying point in your life. My all prayers at the feet of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, Bhagwan Krishna, Bhagwan Sri Ram, at the feet of such great saints like Pramukh Swami Maharaj and Mahan Swami Maharaj, that they bless us with the right kind of thinking, attitudes and action at all the right moments in life. And we just don't come out as a smart professional, we come out as great human beings also to inspire the next generation to carry on the legacy of value-driven life. Thank you very much, and my all prayers for all of you.